All right, welcome back to your contractor growth roadmap training. We've talked about the foundation, we've talked about startup mode, we've talked about growth mode, and now we're going to talk about scaling. Now, what is scaling? Well, it's pretty much what it sounds like, right? You're normally at least $1 million, maybe a little bit over $1 million, but now you're ready to, as they say, pour gasoline on the fire. The flame's lit, it's producing warmth, that's great, but now you want to pour gasoline on it. You really want to make it a bonfire. So how do we do that? How do we take a contracting business that is successful and take it to that next level, right? You've crossed into seven figures. How do we get to multiple seven figures or even eight figures? Here's a funny thing. Some contractors think that they need to add another business, right? They're a plumber. Hey, I need to add an HVAC company, right? Or they're an electrician. They think they need to add an audio video company, right? That's not what this is about. You can build an 8-figure or sometimes even 9-figure business staying very specifically inside of your niche, right? So it's understanding what needs to happen to get there. So when it comes to attraction, which is, again, marketing, in scale mode, you're really only focused on one thing. That's dialing in your metrics, right? Understanding your numbers, right? What are your channels, your advertising channels, and what are your conversion rates, right? And I spoke about this in some of the previous training. But if you're looking at this, it's like, hey, for every dollar I put in, I should get a positive return. If not, I shouldn't be doing it. For every dollar I put in, I get $5 back. Okay, how do I take that $5 and make it 10? Do I need to dial in my messaging? Maybe it's some imaging. Maybe it's my follow-up process, but I'm starting to dial in my metrics, right? Listening to a gentleman named Alex Hermosi who sold his business, Gym Launch, for 9 figures, right? He was speaking about this, and he said the first thing that you should do if you have a leaky bucket is not go find a bucket that isn't leaking. It's to patch the holes in the leaky bucket, right? You want to increase capacity? Cool. That's what you got to do is fill in the holes in your leaky bucket, and that's what we're doing inside of scale mode. The next thing we look at is, again, adding new channels. This is where you would go get another bucket. Now we're saying, okay, right now we don't do any customer referrals, but what if we did? What would that look like? Or, hey, we're going to pay for referrals, and this is how we're going to do it. Or, hey, we're going to look at mailers or a magazine and see how that works for us. Or we're going to start playing around with paid ads, pay-per-click or Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. It's not that any one of these is better than the other. It's that you're deciding that this is going to be the medium that we're going to use, and we're going to spend time, energy, and attention and money dialing it in so that we can convert positively, so we can attract more eyeballs to our product or service, right? And again, you're optimizing your current channel, your messaging, your audience, and ultimately your offer. The next thing we look at is our conversion, right? We talk about attraction, which is the eyeballs. Conversion is selling it. Now, again, at scale mode, you understand the sales process. You have a good sales process. But what you're looking at is how do we tie in some KPIs? What are KPIs? Those are key performance indicators. We're saying, okay, what are the numbers that we should be paying attention to? In other words, what are the top 3 KPIs, right? Are they leads? Are they estimates? Are they sales? What are the top 3 KPIs that we need to be paying attention to? And then how are we compared to the industry averages, right? Is the industry average close rate 32% and we're at 22, or the industry average is 25 and we're at 35? What does that look like? What do our averages look like compared to the industry averages, right? Then we're implementing a sales process. At this point, over $1 million, you've got a team that's helping you execute. So you have to implement a sales process. If you want to grow to multiple 7 figures, you're going to have a sales team. So you're going to need to train that sales team. Why? Because sales is a perishable skill, okay? It's just like shooting a basketball. It's just like hitting a golf ball. Sure, you'll remember how to do it, but you're probably going to do pretty bad until you get back into the swing of things, okay? What are you training on? You should be training on the aspects of the sales process, right? If you have any triage calls or warming up calls, your sales calls themselves, or your bids or estimates on site, whatever it is that you call them, how are you closing, right? What do you need to talk about or focus on or take away from the presentation to help you sell more? And then how often should you be training? If you ask me, you should be training every day. That's what we do with our sales guys, is we train with them every single day. Why? Because I want them to be dialed in. I want them to know exactly what they need to do and make sure that they're exactly where they need to be. Why? Because that's going to lead to more conversions. More conversions obviously equals more sales. Once you have those two things in place now, again, it's all about driving conversion. You're setting the targets. I want you to set 4 estimates every week, Mr. Sales Guy, and I want you to close 2 of them. Okay, how are we achieving those targets? Okay, Mr. Sales Guy, you are achieving 4, but you're not closing 2, you're only closing 1. What do we need to change? Is it your presentation? Is it the information that you're saying? Is it the order that you're saying it in, right? And you're constantly evaluating this and driving that conversion, right? The focus, again, increase conversion, increase sales. Next area is delivery. What we're focused on here is optimizing our revenue model. What are we selling, right? And it could be, hey, we're just selling, we're putting in the electrical for new builds. Cool. What else could you sell? Could you upsell something additional? Could you downsell so that, hey, maybe this isn't what you want, so you're a remodeler and they want a tongue and groove ceiling. You throw the price down and they're like, hey, that's too much. What would a backup be? Hey, instead of tongue and groove, we can come in and we can put cedar planks, and instead of being this much, it would be this much, right? Downsell, don't lose the sale. What could you bundle? In other words, what additional products and services could you offer inside of your core offer? You look at extended warranties. Could you have an extended warranty? Even as a garage door company where, you charge $10 a month for an extended warranty and you come out, once a quarter and you just check and make sure everything's well oiled and ready to go. People will pay for that, okay? You're also looking at optimizing your job operations. When you're on the job, there should be job checklists, right? There should be an order of operations. This is how we do things at ABC Company, right? You look at your work rate. In other words, based off of the KPIs that you've already established, are you guys functioning at the level that they should be? Are they falling behind? Are they overperforming? What does that look like? And then materials, constantly checking materials. Can you get economies of scale by ordering in bulk ahead of time? Is that something that you need to do to start to save money, which ultimately helps you make more money? And then we look at streamlined delivery, right? The key to any business, communication. Also, execution of the job. How do we make this a more efficient process? Are we waiting till a trade is done before we have the next trade come? Are we waiting till we finish a job before we start the next job? Or could we start to have some overlap? This trade can start when this other one is wrapping up. This crew can finish up this job while I pull 2 guys to start the next job, right? Again, execution of the job, streamlining delivery. And then making sure that you're following up, checking the satisfaction, reviewing your work, and making sure that you're maintaining that standard that you have. And when it comes to expansion, this is all about optimizing the team. Everybody on the team has metrics. In other words, has numbers that they're responsible for, whether they're the secretary or they're the laborer, it doesn't matter. How frequently are you reviewing? Should be at least once a quarter. You should have a process in place for hiring slow and firing fast. I already mentioned behavior profiling is something that I like to use inside of this process to help me make sure that I'm hiring the right people. We looked at optimizing internal operations, right? You should be looking at the way you're doing things every quarter. Is this the best way? Is this the most efficient way? Is there a better way or a different way? What's not working? And ultimately, how is it that you can improve it? And then now we're really looking at how do we convert profit to wealth, right? It's really cool to make money, but it's way cooler to keep money. Revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, cash is king. And really what we're looking at right here is how do we have our money start working for us? You got a few dollars in the bank account? Cool. You can go buy another piece of equipment and put more people to work. Sure. Or you can figure out how to take that money and maybe invest it, right? Invest it in a project where you're not actually doing the work, but you're investing in the project, right? Have your money start making money for you. There's different options that you have. You can invest, you can buy assets, you can play around in the real estate game, which you guys are a part of anyway. So really it's looking at where is it that we can take our profits and turn them into wealth. Now, inside of this training, we have a resource for traction, which is understanding traffic guide, right? So you're going to understand a little bit more about the different avenues to generate more eyeballs, more people interested in your product or service. Also, there's going to be a resource for conversion, right? How to increase your revenue model. We're going to be giving you a resource for job site operations, right? A guide, if you will, on how to understand job site operations. And then really metrics and meetings, which are the key to growth. So we have these resources at the bottom for you. Again, scale mode, right? 1,000,000 plus. I guarantee if you're in growth or if you're in startup mode and you're watching this video, you're getting super excited. I want to spend money to make money. You're not there yet. Don't worry about it. You're in scale mode and you're not ready to do this. Go to one of the previous phases. Make sure you have your foundation in place before you do this, because this can break your company. Financially, it could break your employees if you're not ready for it. So make sure you're in the right phase of business.